pod bay doors.
Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode of The Cinematic Traveler. I am your intrepid movie exploring host, Chris, and on this episode, oh no, not another one, another superhero movie. But wait, this isn't just any superhero, this is Superman, one of the biggest names in all the superhero world, and he has gotten a reboot directed by James Gunn. Now, can the director of the surprisingly enjoyable Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, can he bring life back to the big blue Boy Scout and make current audiences appreciate his corniness? Well, that's what I'm here to tell you. But before I do, as I have to do because everybody does it on podcasts and YouTubers, please follow, subscribe, give me a rating, give me a review, get in touch with me in the comments, follow me on my social media. I would say Instagram is the best way to do it, at Cinematic Traveler Pod. I also have an email address, thecinematictravelerpod@gmail.com. So you have plenty of ways to get in touch with me. Do all the stuff you have to do to alert the algorithm that I actually, yes, am making a show out here. All right, I got that out of the way because I don't want to waste too much of your time, because I know you were as interested to find out about this movie as I was to go watch it. So I hope you're doing well out there, my beloved listener. Again, I'm going to keep the banter short, so let's just go ahead and get into this, shall we? Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. And as I mentioned, this is directed by James Gunn, he of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, as well as The Suicide Squad, and various other projects. One of my favorites of his was Slither, a little horror movie that was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Now, before we get things started, I do have to over-explain a couple of things. I am going to give you a spoiler-free review, as well as a spoiler-free plot synopsis. Now, in that plot synopsis, I have hidden a movie quote from another movie that is either similar to this or shares some DNA with this film. If you can identify that movie and get in touch with me through, like I said, Instagram at Cinematic Traveler Pod, or in the comments section, or my email address, thecinematictravelerpod@gmail.com, I'll give you a point if you get it right. At the end of the month, I add up all the points, and whoever wins gets to pick a movie for me to review next month. Oh my God, how exciting. How exciting is that? You get to make this monkey dance. And I will do anything for my fans. Well, just about anything for my fans. But at any rate, play along. It's a lot of fun. I know it seems a bit uncool, but that's the best time of the week, is to be uncool with Chris. And if you don't listen on the regular, just play along. Let me know you're out there. I would really like to know that you're out there for all the work and the sweat that I put into this, because wearing a shirt and tie in the South, not a good idea. I don't know why I decided to do this. And one more thing before we get into it. I know, I hear you. Get on with it already, man. But as I mentioned from time to time on the show, I don't really listen to other reviews or watch other reviews before I do mine. I don't want to be tainted by their opinions. But, you know, I see their thumbnails and whatnot, and they all have their Superman gear on, or they got, you know, the suit and the hair done a certain way, or, you know, all the Superman shit. And, you know, that kind of cheap theatrics, it's not something that I do on this show. I find it a bit offensive, really. I shouldn't have to resort to that kind of theatricality when I'm doing this show. But let's go ahead and get on with it already, shall we? And if you're listening, you're not getting any of this joke. But if you're watching, yeah, I'm having a little fun with this. I'll also let you know I haven't written anything down as far as plot synopsis. So we're going to go off the top of my head here. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. But just bear with me. I won't take up too much of your time. I know I say that every week, and yet I always do. All right, so we start off this movie with Superman, played by Brandon Routh. No. Henry Cavill. No. This time played by David Cornsweet. I think that's how you say his name. At any rate, he has just gotten his butt kicked, basically. That's where we find him crash landing on the Earth after another super villain. Oh no, meta-human. That's what they're called in DC. Oh, so dumb. Anyway, he has fought him and got defeated. And you've probably seen some of this scene somewhere, either in the trailers or online, where we get introduced to Crypto, who we're going to get to later, his super dog, who comes and rescues him and takes him back to the Fortress of Solitude, where many of his super robots, one of them voiced by the great Alan Tudyk, repair him and heal him by the power of the yellow sun. And he flies back to Metropolis to once again try and save the day. And I'll be honest, I kind of forget what happens after that. I know he goes back to Metropolis, and we find out that Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult, was behind the attack from the other metahuman, the villainous metahuman, and he's trying to defeat Superman to help out this fictional country that's trying to take over this other fictional country so that they will give Luthor a bunch of land that he can do whatever the fuck he's supposed to do. I don't know, some crazy comic book bullshit. At any rate, this is where we meet Lois Lane at the Daily Planet, played by Rachel Brosnahan, and her and Clark Kent have a back and forth, but then it is later revealed when Lois makes her way back to her apartment that her and Clark Kent / Superman have been seeing each other, dating each other for the last 3 months. But it's a tricky relationship because Clark / Superman is sort of a trusting soul. He believes in humanity, and he's kind of corny and old-fashioned that way, whereas Lois is the cynic because she's the reporter that has seen awful things throughout the world. She's also a little upset because Superman won't grant her an interview, which he finally does, and things get a bit heated as she asks very difficult questions and says things like, well, I mean, let's face it, you're not exactly normal, are you? It's not exactly a normal world, is it? Hint, hint. A movie quote from a much, much more impactful superhero movie. Oh, I gave that one away. All right, at any rate. So they have a little bit of an argument, but you know how it is with Lois and Superman. They argue and get back together. But at this point, Lex introduces a big giant monster into the middle of Metropolis, and Superman has to save people. He is joined by the Justice Gang, headed by Green Lantern Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion, who is joined by Mr. Terrific, played by Eddie Gathegi, and the third member of their trio, Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. Well, they defeat this giant creature, but it was all a diversion so that Lex Luthor can set up Superman by finding out there's this message that Superman watches from his birth parents in the Fortress of Solitude that tells him that he has been sent to Earth to lead them and to be a hero and to be a guiding light. Well, there's a second part of this message that Superman has never heard, but Lex Luthor's able to find it in the computer or whatever, and it basically has his parents telling him that once you gain their trust, then just take over the whole planet. So everybody turns on Superman. They think he's a jerk now. Oh my God, I really should have written out a plot synopsis because, God almighty, I didn't realize how much of a plot this movie has. Oh, dear God. Let's see, Superman turns himself in. It turns out it was all a trick by Lex Luthor because ultimately Lex Luthor wants to do what Lex Luthor always wants to do, and that is to kill Superman. But will Superman be defeated by Lex, or will he be able to save the day with the help of his other metahuman superhero colleagues, and then give Lois Lane a kiss at the end? Well, I'm not going to spoil this movie for you by telling you all that. Oh my God, that plot synopsis really sucked. I apologize. Can you tell my level of enthusiasm for this movie? But I am going to give you the best review for Superman in all the podcast or YouTube or universe. Or maybe not. I don't know at this point. I will say, going into this film, when I first saw the trailer, I was excited for the very first trailer. I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. I like James Gunn. I've liked all of his movies up until now. Not to give anything away. And I thought, okay, he can take this and make it work. And I knew it had other superheroes in it, but I thought, okay, he did the Guardians of the Galaxy. And he took these characters I had really not ever heard of, just barely, to be honest with you. And he made that a very great movie, or that whole series. So I thought, okay, he could do that here with this. So I was excited. But then each thing I kept seeing more and more of, and I just kind of was like, I don't know about this. I don't know. So my enthusiasm was waning. But then something really weird happened. There was a lot of discourse over this film, over a Superman movie. It's very controversial. Superman movie. I don't know why, but it was all over the internet or social media, Twitter especially. Oh my god, you had the Zack Snyder people; they were ready to shit all over this movie, and then you had the people, the anti-woke. Oh, Superman's woke. I'm like, come on, Superman's woke. I mean, he helps everybody all the time. Of course, he's woke, you dumbass. But at any rate, so then I started to root for this movie because I may have said this before on other episodes. I kind of root for the underdog. So when I see a movie getting trashed like this before it even comes out, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to really pull hard for this movie and I really want it to do well. So when I went into the movie theater, I was excited. I was like, okay, this is going to be a good, fun Superman movie. So did it live up to those expectations? Well, let's talk about the positives of Superman.
Sounds pleasant.
Are y'all getting my Superman symbol? I don't know if I'm crazy about that Superman symbol. Anyway, that's just for you people watching. So I guess let's start with the cast. I like David Cornsweet. Again, I'm sorry if I'm saying that name wrong, David. If you want to come on the show and correct me and talk about this movie, I would love to have you come on because you really did give a very good performance. I enjoyed his Superman. And like I said in my scatterbrained plot synopsis, oh god, this episode is gonna be so much fun to edit. Anyway, he's very corny, very, I don't want to say old school Superman, but he tends to believe in the good of human beings, and he tries to seek to be kindness to people and to lead them through that. As he says in the movie, that's his version of being punk rock, and he pulls it off very well. I like I said, I liked him as Superman. Big dude, 6'4", a little shorter than me. That's right, a little shorter than me. But yeah, he definitely is imposing when he stands next to people in the movie. You're like, damn, that's a big man, and those are some really short people next to him. So he can carry that off when he's doing the Superman stuff, when he's being heroic and triumphant. He's really good at that. But also the Clark Kent side, he's the dweeb that nobody really pays attention to. And him and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane have really good chemistry. They play well. You really buy into what they're doing here. This isn't Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder from the 1978 movie where they're kind of flirting and leading into it. This is two people that are already, like I said, 3 months into a relationship. So they're kind of past the honeymoon phase and they're seeing the differences between each other and they don't know if they're going to be able to make it work out. So you really buy into this love that they have for each other, and that despite their differences, they want it to work out because the differences kind of make the relationship better, if that makes any kind of sense. So yeah, I really liked him in this movie. I hope it's going to make a lot of money just because people are going to want to see it. So hopefully the next one will continue on. He gets to come back as that role, because it seems like in some of the interviews I've seen with him, he really cares about being this character and representing Superman in this way. Not that any of the other actors who played him weren't. I've liked pretty much every actor who has played Superman. I think they've all brought something really cool into it. There's only one that has been amazing at it, and that's Christopher Reeve, and no one will ever live up to that. I don't care. You could call me an old man, but so be it. The man was great as Superman, and no one will ever live up to that. But I did like David Cornsweet in this role. Rachel Brosnahan, as I mentioned, she has great chemistry with him. She's a very good Lois Lane. She's trying to get to the bottom of things, and she's that reporter that's chasing after the leads and all that fun stuff. So again, those two that are leading the movie, they're a lot of fun, and I really bought into everything about them. Outside of that, I did like Eddie Gathegi. Again, I apologize, Eddie, if you want to come on the show and talk about it, you definitely can do that. But as Mr. Terrific, he was a lot of fun. He's kind of this super genius, and that helps Superman through most of the movie, really. And I just like, there's things with his character that made me laugh where he would have to explain things to people, or they would ask questions. A lot of it was like when he was with Lois Lane and she would ask the question, because she's kind of the audience at certain points in the movie, asking, what does this mean? And it's some super smart scientific thing, and just the way he would explain it and say it, like, duh, didn't you know that? It just made me laugh. I don't know why. It just, his attitude when he talked to her was pretty good. He was a pretty good character too, had a good badass moment. I'd like to see him in more movies, maybe his own movie. That'd be a lot of fun, or series. Nathan Fillion, of course, is Guy Gardner. Not the Green Lantern that we wanted him to be. We all wanted him to be Hal Jordan many years ago. God, that would have been perfect casting. But come on, he's Nathan Fillion. We all love him. If you're a genre fan, you know the guy, you love him. So yeah, of course he's fun in this movie. Trying to think who else. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is fine. We'll get into some issues with that character, but he plays the superhero villain fine. Really, outside of that, everybody else is pretty average, pretty fine. Nobody, I don't think there's any really bad performance in the movie. Everybody does fine at their role. Just the ones that I have highlighted are the ones that really stood out to me. The movie looks good. It's kind of got some wonky CGI here and there, but I guess that's kind of the point. It's more cartoony, more brighter. How about that? Than Man of Steel. Whatever end of the spectrum Man of Steel is filmed on, this one is the complete opposite side. It is very colorful, uh, borderline cartoony, but that's okay. It goes with the style of movie that this is, style of Superman movie this is. This isn't dark, brooding Superman. This is fun, uplifting, hopeful Superman. And it plays right into that. And that sort of is James Gunn's approach to these superhero movies. I don't think he really makes dark, well, outside of Super with Rainn Wilson from way back. If you haven't seen that movie, that's that's a dark superhero movie. But his big superhero movies have all been colorful. I think the Suicide Squad with Idris Elba, that was a really colorful jump off the screen at you type movie. I really like that one. That one was really good. But yeah, so James Gunn continues that here. He mixes in the music well. I do have a criticism that we'll get to with that as well. But other than that, the movie looks good. It's bright, colorful. It'll keep your 8-year-old brain entertained. Outside of that, what else did I like? There's a great moment between Pa Kent and Clark Kent when Clark's kind of feeling at his lowest. And it was a nice father-son moment. We don't get that a lot in Hollywood movies these days, and it kind of made me tear up a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Because I was like, hell yeah, here's a dad helping his son out and telling him he's proud of him, and his son really, it meant something. It just, yeah, it was a good scene. That was a really good scene. There's some really good touching moments in here. There's some good superhero stuff. There's some good stuff with Superman becoming Superman and posing and flying up and gives you goosebumps and all that fun stuff. So there are parts of this movie that work really well, and I enjoyed them. But there are parts that didn't. So let's just go ahead and slide into the negative of Superman.
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of that.
And in the time between the movie's ending and to me sitting in front of this laptop and recording this episode, I have struggled with how I would talk about the negatives of this movie. I think I'm gonna hit the big stuff first with it. The main thing that I struggled with in this movie was this feels like either a sequel or the third film in a series, and I hadn't watched anything before that, because there you get thrown into it and there's stuff happening that I have no idea what it is, who it is, why it's happening. There's characters that come along. I talked about Mr. Terrific. He comes along. I had no idea. I'm only a very surface level comic book fan, and I'll be honest, I don't really read them that much anymore. I do lean more into Batman because he's just fucking cooler. Because I'm Batman. But yeah, I didn't really know who that was. But when he appeared, I had no idea. Like when he first shows up, he's flying through the air on this little seat thing. So I was kind of like, okay, is he like Professor X and he's paralyzed and he has to fly around like, but it turns out no. So again, he gets thrown. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Guy Gardner, obviously Nathan Fillion. I know who that is, but and I knew he was a Green Lantern. But outside of that, I didn't really know much about his backstory. And Hawk Girl is just really a pointless character in this movie. She could have not been in it and it would have been fine. Really, I would have enjoyed it more because I must have been sitting near one of the speakers in the movie theater. And whenever she attacks somebody, she screams like a hawk, and it would just like shoot right into my ear and scramble right through my brain. And I was like, oh my God, please make this character go away. Somebody kill her. But that's awful, I know. But yes, you get thrown into this movie without really getting things explained. Like Lex Luthor, I don't know. And I don't want to say I don't know why he doesn't like Superman. We just got to assume that's the way it is. But I don't know about his company. I don't understand that he's this scientist that's super smart and comes up like the big creature that you see Superman fighting in the trailers that breathes fire and all that. That's something that Lex Luthor made, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really get explained. It's like, well, I need a distraction here. I'll let this loose, and ta-da, here it is. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. They have these things. What are they? Pocket universes or whatever. Doesn't really get explained. It just there it is. It gets explained eventually, but when it first starts happening, I'm like, okay, this feels like I've not watched something, or I didn't know what to lead into. And I know James Gunn is big into comics and he knows all this shit, but at the same time, maybe James, you could have kind of eased back on that stuff and let me, kind of get immersed in the Superman world before you kind of introduce, because you got shit flying, like UFO kind of things flying around, and people just kind of shrug their shoulders at it. Which I will say, on a positive note, I should have put in a positive, but there was kind of cool stuff with the people of Metropolis where they're watching all this happen and they're just kind of, it just seems like it's part of their normal day. And I would think, yeah, if you live there long enough, I guess you would just get used to Superman fighting big creatures out in the middle of it. Of course, your car insurance would be through the roof, or your house's insurance, because God, they crush everything. Not as bad as Man of Steel, but yeah, shit gets tore up. But at any rate, that to me was one of the biggest detriments to the movie. Is I really was halfway into this movie going, who the hell are these people? What the hell is going on? Why is this? These two countries that are fighting, who are they? They're fictional. I don't know what's going on with all that. So yeah, I wish they would have done something different in that regard, because it was just so hard to get into the movie. The other reason it was hard to get into this movie is because I wanted a Superman movie, and I got a whole bunch of other characters that I really wasn't that interested in. I mentioned Hawk Girl. You could have just tossed her out of the movie. She'd have never been there. It was fine to have the Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific in there, I guess. I don't know. I wish it would have just been Superman. I liked him. I liked his relationship with Lois Lane. I liked the chemistry of the actors. And I think you could have devoted more time to Lex Luthor and kind of explaining things more, to where, again, I could be brought into this world, and then whatever happens after that, okay, I'm bought in. I can follow all the way through. Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. It kind of brings you into that world. And then the second one and third one get more and more absurd, but you're already invested in the character, so you can have fun with it. That's kind of what I wish he'd done here. As I mentioned, it feels like this is the third movie of a trilogy that I haven't watched, and it was just so hard for me to get invested in this movie. And the other thing with all of these extra characters and side quests and side plots that are in the movie that hurts the film is that it makes the pacing a bit herky jerky to me. And again, I think that falls back into, I wanted this to be a Superman movie, not a Justice Gang movie as it was. But yeah, well, yeah, you want more Superman, but then there are parts of the movie where he's not really even in the movie. He's either beat up, or he's recovering, or he's at Ma and Pa Kent's farm and they're trying to recover there. It's just like, okay, well, I didn't come here to see Mr. Terrific. I didn't come here to see Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl. I came here to see Superman. Give me Superman. And it just really, that's what I would do. I would sit there, and on the scenes he wasn't in, I was like, okay, I don't care about this. Let's move on. Or else I was just fucking confused as what the hell was going on. I'm like, is it just normal for this shit to be in this world? I don't understand. Somebody please explain to me. I'm stupid. But those are the big issues I had with this movie. And that's why it kind of brings my experience with this movie down. I was going to talk about, what else was I going to talk about? Lex Luthor. Again, you don't really get much to go on with him. He just is this character from the start to the end. There's no real explanation of who he is, why he is, how he got to be in this position. I mean, he's dealing with the government. He's coercing these other foreign governments and doing all this scientific shit. How did all of this come about? I had no explanation of that. And yes, I hear all of you young people out there, oh, the 1978 movie, you don't know much about Lex and he knows this and that. Yeah, but Gene Hackman was Gene Hackman. And Nicholas Holt, I like you, but you're not Gene Hackman. And he had charm and chemistry, and it was always fun watching him on the screen. It's not really that way with this Lex Luthor. He's very screamy. I'm like, oh God, stop screaming at everybody. At any rate, what else was negative? The music. All right, here's my negative for the music. I have nothing against anything, the song choices, whatever. James Gunn always does that. My problem is with the Superman theme from John Williams. Okay, listen, I get it. You don't want to commit to the theme for whatever reason. I guess you don't want to tie it back to Christopher Reeve. Like, I can't separate the fact that this is a different movie and it doesn't have Christopher Reeve in it. I'll walk in and I'll hear the Superman theme go, whoa, is Christopher Reeve alive again? Whoa, it's amazing. But you can't tease me with it. He has this stuff, and you probably heard it in the trailer, where it plays on guitar. It plays the Superman theme subtly on guitar, and I'm like, no, you can't tease me like that and then walk away. You can't blue ball me with John Williams' theme from Superman. Just commit to it, damn it. I don't know why the other Superman movies didn't. I know Superman Returns did, but Man of Steel didn't. None of the Justice League, they kind of toyed around with it a little bit. I mean, come on. It's such an amazing theme. Just use it. Give me the fun, especially at the end. Oh, can I just say, I don't want to spoil things, but the end, you don't get the Superman theme at the end, and you also don't get the flyover. And I always loved to fly. Christopher Reeve, when he would fly over the audience and he'd look down at you and smile. I mean, you were like, hell yeah, the theme song is going, and you're like, oh, Superman's up there watching over us. He's going to keep us safe. And I miss that. I miss that. Not that that's a negative. Yeah, that's a tiny little negative from me. But yeah, I wish if you're going to use John Williams' score, just use it. It's just like Star Wars movies. I mean, there's Star Wars movies that don't use Star Wars theme, and I'm like, why would you not? I just don't understand that, but maybe that's a small nitpick on my part. But overall, to give you my final verdict, and I know I said I wasn't going to keep you long, but I just ramble on and on and on and on. But it's my show. What do you want? It's free. What else you got to be doing right now? I know. Just get on with it, man. Overall, this movie's okay. I mean, if you really want to go see a Superman movie, I guess go check this out. It's colorful. It's entertaining enough. I will let you know, if you're not into the superhero lore or the comic book lore, you're going to be like me. You're going to be sitting there going, who the fuck? What the fuck? Why are we? What? Huh? But the Superman stuff is good. David Cornsweet, man, I want to see him in a Superman movie where he gets to just be Superman. I wanted the same thing with Henry Cavill. I just wanted Henry Cavill to be Superman, not brooding, sad, miserable Superman. Oh God, what is wrong with these filmmakers? But no, it's fine. I would probably tell you to wait till it comes on a streaming service, because I didn't think there was anything on the screen that I was like, oh, you have to see this on the big screen. But it's okay. That's all I could give it. I can't give it like, oh, you got to go see it, or it's terrible. Which again, I haven't watched any reviews or listened to any other reviews, but you see the stuff on social media and thumbnails, and it's, this is the best Superman ever, and no, it's the worst, it's horrible, and maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should just be that person, right? I could be negative and be like, what is this horrible woke Superman shit? Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe people would listen more. Or I could go the opposite and be like, it's a superhero movie. I love it. It's better than ever. You know what? I do want to say something. I just want to say something right now. I did see someone on the Twitter or X or whatever. They gave their opinion of it, and they said it was the best Superman movie ever, even better than Superman from 1978. And my instant reaction to that was, your opinion means nothing to me now. Because no Superman movie has been better than Superman from 1978. And do you know how I know that? I know, I hear you young people out there, oh, because you're an old man. No, just because you're young and you think it doesn't have CGI, it must suck. You know, deal with it. Movies made before you were born were probably way better than the shit you're watching now. But do you know how I know that Superman the movie from 1978, starring the great Christopher Reeve, is the best Superman movie? Because every Superman that comes out is compared to Superman the movie starring the great Christopher Reeve. Every guy that plays Superman is compared to Christopher Reeve. So that's how I know that's the best version that we're going to get. So fuck off with your better than Superman 1978. Kiss my ass. I will fight you in the streets over this. But overall, this movie's fine. It's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's an enjoyable watch. Like I said, it's just very confusing, and I wish it would have just been a Superman movie. It's kind of all over the place, and it just seemed like it would have been so much easier to just kind of streamline this shit, introduce me to this new DC universe world with the shit that they have on it, and let me go, you know. But I am excited to see David Cornsweet as Superman again, and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I really want to see them together more, because I thought they did a really great job. So overall, that's my review. Another mid-average flick. Just like every fucking movie that comes out anymore is mid and average. All these big blockbusters, they're not good anymore. See, all you young people out there want to call me old man. Back when I was a kid watching blockbuster movies, they kicked ass. That's why they keep remaking them, because they were so goddamn good. Y'all can't make good movies anymore. What's wrong with you? You young people. What have you lost your creative spines? Stand up. Go out there and make independent films. Make me wrong. Prove this old man wrong. Make exciting stuff that I want to see in the movie theaters. And I have no idea what I'm talking about on this show anymore. I'm totally off the rails, but fuck it. If you're still with me, if I haven't pissed you off, then I must have done something. If I did piss you off, I must have done something right. And if I did, again, please follow, subscribe to the show, leave comments, bicker with me in the comment section. I don't care. Play the contest. Have some fun with that. It's a very easy quote that I gave you. And you can pick a movie for me to review next month. So all you young people out there could pick some of your shit that I'd have to watch and just be miserable the whole time. Inching closer to my grave, the sweet release of death. But yeah, please follow the show. Come back and check out next week. I don't know what's coming out next week, but I will be back for another review. And I also have the winner from last month's contest. They have told me their choice of movies, so I'll have to review that sometime before the end of the month, so I might get on that as quick as possible. Anyway, I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this nonsense. Really, it's just nonsense. I don't know why I do this anymore. It's just nonsense. Oh, if I had a social life, I would not have a podcast. Some sweet, beautiful woman would want to spend her life with me and smother me between her thick thighs. I would be a very happy man. And you wouldn't have to listen to the show anymore, and I wouldn't have to do it. Oh my God, I have really lost control now. What was I saying? Yes, if you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you as an audience member. I tell everyone I know I've got the smartest and sexiest audience in all the podcast YouTuber universe. You never fail to live up to those high standards. Now, as you're traveling around on this blue and green ball bouncing through the cosmos, I need you to do one thing for me. Go out there and do that voodoo that you do so well.
All right, show's over. I'm tired.